Hey everybody, this is Brian from Black Dog 8. Today I'm going to show you how I made this lift top coffee table. I started out ripping down sheets with the Craig rip cut. I made a 24 by 48 and a 24 by 48 to be the top and bottom of the box. Here you can see how I just adjust it to whatever you need. It's a nice easy cut. Now here I am cutting down all the sides of the 6-inch long pieces that I cut that will make the body of the box. What I decided to do was to line everything up and tape out the space where the box would be glued to the bottom of the lid, or the bottom of the table. I got this idea from a video from David Picciuto, but for me it didn't really work out. Here I am just trying to line up all the tape. The reason for this was because I wanted to avoid getting glue on any of the rest of the project. I ended up doing it all, and then the box didn't really line up. It didn't matter because everything came out in the end anyway, but this was almost kind of a wasted step for me. Here I am sanding, just get a little bit done while I can on the bottom. Interesting story about this sander. It was actually given to me by David Picciuto. A while back I was listening to the Making It podcast, and they were talking about giving away old tools. And as a joke, or at least what I thought was a joke at the time, I sent him a message on Twitter saying that I was going to be near him the following weekend, and he wrote me back right away and offered to give me the tool. He actually also provided me with the lift top hardware mechanisms for this table. Just making sure everything ended up square. And there's my taped up bottom to my table. Just trying to get everything lined up and get ready for glue. It wasn't really working out. This is where I started to realize that I was going to just have to assemble the box itself and then get it attached to the bottom of the table. So I went ahead and started doing pocket screws, or pocket holes rather. Now I wanted to make sure I got the table the box itself as square as possible, so I use these little corner clamps, or corner squares I guess you call them, to make sure everything lined up. They were kind of more of a pain to use than anything, so I just went with a speed square and made sure everything squared up. It wasn't perfectly square in the end, but I was able to manipulate it when I attach it to the bottom. And you can see right here how that it didn't really line up with the tape. I don't know if the tape was off or the box was off, but I got it to where I liked it and was able to attach it anyway. So here I just put some glue on, and then you'll see in a minute I countersink so that I can use some screws. But the camera stopped working and I only got the one countersink in. But I basically attached it after I had it all lined up with glue and screws on from the bottom of the table. And one thing I completely forgot is that I was going to add a drawer. So I ended up having to go back and cut a space for the drawer later, and then this is me just cleaning it up. I wasn't sure how to cut it after I already had it attached, so what I did was just use a speed square and a Sawzall, and that ended up doing a horrible job, but it didn't matter because the drawer front covers that cut anyway. And here I am just cutting the actual supports that are going to go in, you'll see in a minute, that are going to hold the drawer slides and keep the drawer in place. And this little trick just shows me, or just helps me line up where to drill and countersink on the bottom to put those supports in. And what I did was got them in, got them all lined up. I glued them down and then put some weight on them and left it there for a while before I flipped it over to screw it, because they were actually shorter or less wide. I think those were 4 inches and the sides of the box were 6. So here I am screwing in the supports for the drawers. And then putting in the drawer slides, which I totally screwed up. I ended up coming back with the drawer front that I had already made and using a spacer block that was going to be the thickness of the drawer, so I knew exactly where to set the drawer slides in. And then you can see there how I put the drawer front on and the spacer. And here I am gluing up the legs that are going to be used for the table. Just getting those ready to trim them down later. I actually had, this piece right here is only going to be 2 table legs. I had pieces from another project left over that ended up being the other 2 legs. And then this is just a piece of 1x12 pine that I'm going to use for the aprons. And here I am cutting them down to size. Then I take the table legs over to the joiner, get 2 sides square and flat. And those are the pieces that I had left from another project. I then take them over to the table saw and set everything up so that I can get them down to 2.5 inches square. When I took a look at them, I realized that they were just too bulky, so I decided to go down to 2 inches square. And here I am cutting them to length on the chop saw. And here we go with the base assembly, starting out with some pocket holes. getting those all drilled out. And then you can see that little piece of Luan that I have under there. I wanted to leave a 1/4 inch reveal on the outside of the base, so I use that kind of as a spacer. More pocket holes in the long sides of the aprons. Now, I wanted to get everything nice and tight and make sure the tops of the legs were flush with the tops of the aprons, and I was having a lot of trouble getting these clamped up. But I eventually got it and carried on with my assembly. And there is the table base. Basically, there wasn't much left to do. I just needed to build a drawer, and that's what I'm doing there, cutting that down to 3 or 4 inches. And here is going to be the drawer base, or the drawer bottom. And then I need to cut the dados in to receive the drawer bottom. I made 2 passes instead of installing a dado just to get the 1/4 inch. And there I am test fitting to make sure it fits, and then finishing the cut. For whatever reason, my measurements were off and I had trouble, so I had to go back to the table saw a couple times and retrim the drawer bottom, but I got it all together. And once I got it together, I went ahead and installed the other ends of the drawer slides. So once I got the drawer done, this will show you how I made the drawer front, which was out of an old piece of walnut that I had. And getting that jointed nice and flat on 2 sides. And then running it through the table saw to get my final width. And then here planing it to get the 4th dimension nice and flat and parallel. I then put a small chamfer around all the edges of the outside of the drawer front, the part that faces you, just as a decorative detail. And then sanding it down with the David Picciuto sander again. I went all the way to 220 grit and then applied some wipe-on poly. I ended up doing 3 coats on the drawer front. And then all I did was install the lift top hardware, as you can see here. And it just pushes up. I then attached the base to the box. I stained it gray and applied a handle. And there's my lovely wife with some pizza enjoying the table, and there's a bunch of crap on it. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you could share and like, I would appreciate it. Thanks.